I've got to be completely honest with you here. If you had told me even just 6 months ago that I'd be sitting right here breaking down how Microsoft just made the Linux switch mandatory, whether you like it or not, I would have laughed. Literally laughed out loud. But, well, I'm definitely not laughing anymore. Because this isn't some hypothetical scenario. It is happening right now to hundreds of millions of people. And the wildly ironic part of this whole shebang, Microsoft is doing it to themselves. They've made this compounding series of decisions that are inadvertently triggering a mass exodus away from Windows. So let's look at exactly how and why this is happening.
Okay, let's dive into this, because for the longest time, switching to Linux was kind of viewed as a running joke, right? Something just for hardcore tech nerds hanging out in basements. But over the last 2 years, Microsoft has been lining up a set of dominoes that tell one very stark story. To quote the writing on the wall, Microsoft is essentially forcing people onto Linux, and they are doing it to themselves. It's a story that ends with you either paying way more than you ever imagined, buying hardware you never actually needed, or finally making the jump to an alternative. As we go through this explainer, you're going to understand exactly why everyday users, massive enterprises, and even entire governments are looking at Linux and saying, you know what, this might actually be the move.
Part 1. The Windows 10 Cliff.
Right now, as we speak, there are roughly 240 million computers worldwide facing a critical, completely unavoidable deadline. Think about that number. Let's walk through this timeline to see the squeeze happening, starting with October 2025. That is the date Microsoft officially ends support for Windows 10. And just to be absolutely clear, that doesn't just mean you stop getting fun new desktop widgets. It means no more security patches. Full stop. They completely stop fixing the actual vulnerabilities that cybercriminals exploit. If you're running Windows 10 past that date, you are running an operating system with a giant target painted on its back. Microsoft basically just puts down their paintbrush, packs up, and walks away. So the natural next step is, well, just upgrade to Windows 11, right? Actually, not so fast.
That brings us to the hardware gates. Windows 11 is not your typical upgrade. You are faced with these mandatory hard stops. You absolutely need TPM 2.0. You must have Secure Boot enabled. You need a specific, relatively newer generation CPU. If your machine is missing even one of these things, the system flat out refuses to install. No exceptions. You could have a blazing fast computer from, say, 2017 or 2018 that handles literally everything you throw at it flawlessly, but Microsoft looks at it and says, sorry, go buy a new computer. And on top of that, these new Copilot Plus PCs demand dedicated AI chips, NPUs, just to run heavily marketed features, creating a whole secondary hardware gate. They are effectively forcing millions of people to buy brand new hardware in the middle of a global cost of living crisis. It's absolutely wild.
Which leads us to part 2, the mandatory AI tax.
Now, if forced hardware upgrades were the only issue, people might just, grit their teeth and bear it. But the second side of this tightening vice brings massive privacy concerns into the mix. Microsoft isn't just selling an operating system anymore. They are aggressively pushing an AI platform. Their big vision is the Agentic OS, basically an operating system where persistent, context-aware AI agents run in the background, constantly analyzing your behavior and acting on your behalf. Microsoft pitched this as super exciting, but power users, developers, and privacy advocates, they read this definition and heard something entirely different. Always-on surveillance that you literally cannot turn off. It's an AI analyzing every single click and keystroke. Naturally, this triggered severe backlash. For a lot of people already sitting on the fence, this total loss of machine control was the absolute last straw.
And then, Microsoft hit the enterprise world with a massive number, 33%. That is a single-move price jump announced for late 2025 for Microsoft 365 frontline workers, taking full effect in mid-2026. And across the board, enterprise tiers like E3 and E5 saw massive compounding subscription hikes. Microsoft justified this by claiming, hey, we're bundling in all this new AI value, Copilot chat, security agents, the whole shebang. But here is the absolute crucial point. You don't get to opt out. Even if your organization doesn't want the AI, maybe you have severe privacy reservations about it, or you simply didn't ask for it, you still have to pay. It is quite literally a mandatory AI tax slapped onto the software that entire companies rely on to run their daily businesses.
Part 3. The New Linux Reality.
So, with this vice closing in, you've got hardware lockouts on one side and privacy-invading AI taxes on the other. People started desperately looking for an escape hatch. And it is time we shatter some seriously outdated myths. For a long time, the narrative was that Linux was just way too hard. Old Linux meant missing Wi-Fi drivers, gaming was nearly impossible, and the learning curve was, frankly, a nightmare. But modern Linux? That narrative is completely dead. Modern distributions have become incredibly mature. We are talking out-of-the-box Wi-Fi, Bluetooth that connects seamlessly. Through modern app stores like Flatpak and Snap, downloading an app is just one click. Honestly, the installation and daily use of Linux is now genuinely smoother and faster than a clean Windows reinstall.
And what about the biggest anchor that used to keep everyone tied to Windows? Gaming and software. Well, that's completely changed. Valve's Steam Deck completely changed the game here, proving that Linux gaming is a massive, everyday reality. Thanks to Valve's Proton compatibility layer, you can play thousands of top-tier Windows games right through Steam with zero tinkering. Plus, professional software is completely on board now. Tools we use every day like Visual Studio Code, Slack, Discord, and Spotify, they run natively, right out of the box, no messy workarounds required. The compromise is basically gone.
Part 4. The Great Migration.
So, if the tech is truly ready, who's actually making the jump? Well, we have to look past everyday users to see how massive global entities are validating Linux as a serious enterprise-grade platform. Let's ground this software debate in massive financial reality. 15 million euros. That is the jaw-dropping amount of money the German state of Schleswig-Holstein is saving in annual licensing fees just by switching away from Windows. By making the move before Microsoft's 2026 price hikes kick in, they completely bypass that mandatory AI tax. And that is not just a rounding error, folks. That is transformational budget savings that can be redirected into actual public services.
Now here's the thing, Germany is not alone in this. Schleswig-Holstein moved 30,000 workstations. That's 80% of their infrastructure to Linux. Amsterdam just published a massive decade-long digital autonomy strategy, and all 27 EU member states adopted an open-source charter in late 2025. This isn't just some vague preference for open-source software, you know? This is a hard, calculated, strategic pivot toward what they're calling digital sovereignty. These governments are realizing that relying entirely on a single foreign corporation like Microsoft for their critical infrastructure, it just represents an unacceptable risk to their security and their autonomy.
But what about the rest of us? How is the everyday person actually doing this? Well, post-Windows 10 end of life, we saw massive, six-figure download surges for distributions like Zorin OS 18, which, by the way, is designed to look almost exactly like Windows. And people are using this incredibly frictionless pathway, the dual boot entry strategy. It's so simple. You download the OS, you let the installer automatically configure your drive and set up a dual boot menu alongside Windows, and you just start testing the waters. People boot into Linux for safe, fast web browsing, keep Windows around just in case, and a few weeks later, they slowly realize they're spending 90% of their time in Linux. It's safe, it's incredibly easy, and it just works.
Now, as your guide through this explainer, I want to maintain total transparency with you. Linux is absolutely amazing, but let's be real, it isn't perfect for absolutely everyone just yet. There are places where it still falls short. For instance, Adobe Creative Cloud still lacks native support, which is a major roadblock for professional creatives. Highly specific niche apps in engineering, healthcare, or finance, they don't always have exact equivalents. If you play competitive games that require incredibly invasive, kernel-level anti-cheat, like Valorant, you are currently out of luck. And deeply entrenched enterprise environments face some really complex migration hurdles. These are genuine constraints. But here's the key takeaway. 5 years ago, this list was a mile long. Today, it's highly specific, and it is narrowing every single month.
And that brings us to the ultimate bottom line. For 30 years, Microsoft built Windows into a global monopoly by making it the path of least resistance. It was simply the default, easy choice. But by compounding all of these mandates, strict hardware gates locking out perfectly good PCs, privacy-invading AI that you can't turn off, and massive unavoidable subscription hikes, Microsoft has transformed Windows from the easy choice into an expensive, restrictive trap. Without even meaning to, they have made Windows the path of most resistance.
Which leaves us with this final thought. On one side of the wall, you have mandatory hardware, mandatory AI, and mandatory price hikes. On the other side, you have a modern Linux ecosystem that is completely free, totally respects your privacy, runs incredibly well on the hardware you already own, and answers to absolutely nobody. Microsoft built this wall themselves. By trying to force everyone's hand, Microsoft made the Linux switch the most logical next step, whether you like it or not. So the only question left to ask is, Microsoft made the path of most resistance. Will you stay on it? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to keep exploring what your hardware is truly capable of.